on the Sistine Chapel ceiling by Michelangelo. The subject of today's episode is one of the most famous and iconic works of art in history, made by none other than the great Michelangelo, who is widely regarded as the greatest artist of all time. I'm talking about the iconic fresco paintings of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Considered a cornerstone work of the Renaissance, it is one of the most famous works of art by Michelangelo. Let us discuss the paintings with the help of a few questions. Question 1. What is the Sistine Chapel ceiling? The Sistine Chapel ceiling is a renowned masterpiece of Renaissance art painted by the Italian artist Michelangelo Buonarroti. Located within the Vatican City in Rome, the Sistine Chapel is the official residence of the Pope and serves as a significant site for religious ceremonies and events. Michelangelo was commissioned to paint the ceiling by Pope Julius II in the early 16th century. The project was an ambitious undertaking that spanned from 1508 to 1512. The resulting artwork is a magnificent fresco that covers the entire ceiling of the chapel, measuring approximately 44 feet by 41 feet. The Sistine Chapel ceiling features a series of 9 central panels depicting scenes from the Book of Genesis, starting with the creation of Adam and culminating in the story of Noah and the flood. The most famous section of the ceiling is the iconic image of God and Adam's outstretched hands nearly touching, which symbolizes the divine creation of humanity. Michelangelo's incredible skill is evident in the intricate details, anatomical accuracy, and dramatic emotional expressions of the figures he depicted. The overall composition of the frescoes, with figures arranged in dynamic poses against a sky-like background, creates a sense of movement and grandeur. The Sistine Chapel ceiling is considered one of the greatest artistic achievements in history and is admired for its technical prowess, artistic innovation, and profound religious symbolism. It has had a lasting impact on Western art and continues to be a revered cultural and religious landmark. Question 2. What does the Sistine Chapel ceiling depict? The Sistine Chapel ceiling depicts various scenes from the Book of Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible and contains stories of creation, humanity's early history, and the relationship between God and humans. The ceiling is divided into several sections, each featuring different episodes from the Genesis narrative. Some of the key depictions on the Sistine Chapel ceiling are: the creation of Adam. This is one of the most famous and iconic images from the ceiling. It shows God reaching out to touch the hand of Adam, symbolizing the moment when God imparted life to the first man. The painting is known for its dramatic composition and the emotional tension between the two figures. The creation of Eve. This scene portrays the creation of the first woman, Eve, as she is taken from the side of Adam while he sleeps. It highlights the divine origin of humanity and the establishment of male-female relationships. The separation of light from darkness. This panel illustrates the moment of creation when God separates light from darkness. It serves as a metaphor for the division between good and evil. The expulsion from paradise. This scene depicts the moment when Adam and Eve are banished from the Garden of Eden after eating the forbidden fruit. The emotional turmoil and shame of the first humans are captured vividly in this painting. The flood, one of the more complex scenes. This panel illustrates the story of Noah and the ark during the Great Flood. It shows various stages of the flood, including Noah's ark and the survivors seeking refuge. The deluge, another part of the flood narrative. This section portrays the chaotic and tumultuous scene as the waters rise, and humanity faces destruction. The prophet Jeremiah and the Cumean Sibyl. These two figures are part of the series of prophetic figures and sibyls painted on the pendentives, triangular sections of the ceiling. They represent the anticipation of the coming of Christ and other significant events. The ancestors of Christ. These images of various biblical figures, including ancestors of Jesus Christ, are painted on the lunettes, semicircular areas, above the windows and continue the narrative leading up to the birth of Christ. These depictions, along with other scenes and intricate details, collectively form the intricate narrative of creation, humanity's fall, and the promise of redemption through Christ. Michelangelo's innovative composition, masterful technique, and deep theological symbolism make the Sistine Chapel ceiling a monumental work of art and a testament to his genius. Question 3. Why was the Sistine Chapel ceiling painted? The Sistine Chapel ceiling was commissioned by Pope Julius II, who was the reigning pope of the Catholic Church from 1503 to 1513. The commission was part of Julius II's efforts to enhance the artistic and cultural significance of the Vatican, and he saw the Sistine Chapel as a space where he could showcase the grandeur and power of the papacy. Pope Julius II initially commissioned Michelangelo to create a large-scale painting for one of the side walls of the chapel, depicting the 12 apostles. However, Michelangelo proposed the idea of painting the entire ceiling with scenes from the Book of Genesis, a much more ambitious and innovative project. The Pope eventually agreed to Michelangelo's proposal, and the artist embarked on the monumental task of painting the entire ceiling. The project took several years to complete, spanning from 1508 to 1512. Michelangelo worked tirelessly, often facing physical and artistic challenges, to create one of the most renowned works of art in history. Question 4. What inspired the paintings of the ceiling? The inspiration behind the Sistine Chapel ceiling draws from various sources, including religious themes, classical art, and the cultural context of the Renaissance period. The primary inspiration for the Sistine Chapel ceiling comes from the Book of Genesis in the Bible. Michelangelo chose to depict scenes from the creation of the world, the story of Adam and Eve, the flood, and other episodes from the early chapters of Genesis. The religious narratives and themes provided the foundation for the artistic content and symbolism of the frescoes. Michelangelo was deeply influenced by classical art and the works of ancient Greece and Rome. This influence is evident in his portrayal of the human form, his attention to anatomy, and the dynamic poses of the figures. He combined elements of classical sculpture and artistic principles with religious subject matter to create a unique fusion of styles. The Renaissance period was characterized by a revival of interest in classical learning, human potential, and individualism. Michelangelo's work reflects these humanist ideals, as he sought to depict the beauty and complexity of the human body, mind, and spirit. The figures on the ceiling display a range of emotions, expressions, and physical forms, emphasizing the individuality of each character. Pope Julius II, who commissioned the project, was known for his ambitious efforts to enhance the cultural and political significance of the Vatican. The Sistine Chapel was intended to serve as a symbolic representation of the papacy's power, piety, and connection to divine authority. The grandeur of Michelangelo's artwork was meant to elevate the stature of the papal office. Michelangelo's own artistic vision and creativity played a significant role in shaping the Sistine Chapel ceiling. He was known for his intense dedication to his work and his desire to push the boundaries of artistic achievement. His commitment to capturing the depth of human experience and the spiritual significance of the narratives is reflected in his unique interpretation of biblical stories. Overall, the inspiration behind the Sistine Chapel ceiling is a complex interplay of religious devotion, classical aesthetics, cultural context, and the artist's personal vision. The result is a masterpiece that continues to captivate and inspire audiences to this day. Question 5. What makes the Sistine Chapel ceiling unique? The Sistine Chapel ceiling by Michelangelo is unique for several reasons, making it one of the most celebrated and significant works of art in human history. The sheer scale of the project is remarkable. Michelangelo painted the entire ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, covering an area of approximately 44 feet by 41 feet. The complexity of depicting multiple interconnected scenes, each with numerous figures and intricate details, is a testament to Michelangelo's artistic skill and dedication. Michelangelo's unparalleled mastery of anatomy, form, and composition is evident in the lifelike and dynamic figures he painted. His attention to detail, use of light and shadow, and ability to convey emotions through the gestures and expressions of his figures are unmatched. Michelangelo used the fresco technique, where pigments are applied to wet plaster, allowing the colors to become an integral part of the wall as they dry. This technique required meticulous planning and quick execution. Michelangelo's adaptation of this technique to the curved and irregular surfaces of the ceiling showcases his technical expertise. The imagery on the ceiling is deeply symbolic, reflecting themes of creation, human fallibility, divine intervention, and redemption. Each scene is imbued with religious and philosophical meaning, inviting viewers to contemplate theological concepts and the relationship between humanity and the divine. Michelangelo's focus on the human form and individual expression aligns with the humanist ideals of the Renaissance. He portrayed figures with anatomical accuracy and emotional depth, giving them a sense of individuality and humanity. The ceiling is composed as a continuous narrative, with scenes from the book of Genesis flowing from one to the next. This arrangement encourages viewers to engage with the stories sequentially, creating a cohesive visual storytelling experience. The universal themes of the creation of the world, human nature, and the search for meaning make the Sistine Chapel ceiling relevant across time and cultures. Its beauty, complexity, and profound symbolism continue to captivate and inspire people from all walks of life. Collectively, these factors contribute to the unique and enduring significance of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, solidifying its place as a pinnacle of artistic achievement and a masterpiece that continues to awe and inspire generations. Question 6. What techniques did Michelangelo use to paint the ceiling? Michelangelo employed a complex combination of artistic and technical techniques to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. His approach included a careful blend of preparatory work, fresco painting, and innovative adaptations to the unique challenges posed by the curved and elevated surface of the ceiling. Michelangelo created detailed preparatory drawings called cartoons, which served as his initial sketches for the composition and figures. These large-scale drawings provided a roadmap for the final frescoes. Michelangelo used the fresco technique, which involves applying pigments to wet plaster. He worked in sections, known as giornate, each day's work being limited by the drying time of the plaster. The pigments chemically bonded with the drying plaster, becoming a permanent part of the wall. Michelangelo designed a complex wooden scaffolding system that allowed him to paint on the elevated and curved surface of the ceiling. The scaffolding was positioned at various levels and angles to provide him with access to different parts of the ceiling. Before applying the final colors, Michelangelo created a monochromatic underpainting, known as a synopia. This served as a guide for the placement of figures, composition, and shading. Michelangelo painted directly onto the wet plaster of each giornata. He worked swiftly and efficiently, as the plaster had a limited drying time. This technique required him to accurately gauge the amount of work he could complete in a day's time. Michelangelo used layering and glazing techniques to achieve depth and luminosity. He would apply multiple layers of color, allowing the underlayers to show through selectively. This created a sense of volume and richness in the figures. Michelangelo employed techniques of chiaroscuro, strong contrast between light and dark, and sfumato, gradual blending of tones, to give his figures a three-dimensional appearance and to model their forms realistically. To create texture and shading effects, Michelangelo used techniques such as stippling, creating patterns of dots, and cross-hatching, overlapping lines, to manipulate light and shadow. Michelangelo was skilled at blending colors directly on the wet plaster, creating smooth transitions and subtle variations in tone and hue. Despite the challenges of the curved surface, Michelangelo paid meticulous attention to anatomical accuracy and detail, resulting in figures that appear natural and dynamic. Michelangelo's innovative adaptation of these techniques to the specific demands of the Sistine Chapel ceiling contributed to the extraordinary visual impact and enduring quality of his masterpiece. The combination of his artistic genius and technical prowess resulted in a work of art that continues to be celebrated for its beauty and complexity. Question 7. What is the legacy of the Sistine Chapel ceiling today? The legacy of the Sistine Chapel ceiling by Michelangelo is immense and far-reaching. It has left an indelible mark on art, culture, religion, and the collective human experience. The Sistine Chapel ceiling is considered one of the greatest achievements in the history of art. It continues to inspire generations of artists, from painters and sculptors to filmmakers and designers, who draw upon its innovative techniques, composition, and storytelling. The ceiling has become a global cultural icon, recognized and revered by people of various backgrounds. Its images and symbolism are widely recognizable, even to those who may not be familiar with its historical context. As a religious site within the Vatican, the Sistine Chapel holds profound spiritual significance for the Catholic Church. The ceiling's portrayal of biblical narratives reinforces religious teachings and serves as a visual representation of key theological concepts. The Sistine Chapel is a major tourist attraction, drawing millions of visitors from around the world each year. Its preservation and maintenance contribute to the cultural heritage of humanity and Vatican City. The ceiling is part of the larger architectural context of the Sistine Chapel, known for its historical and artistic significance. The chapel's role in hosting papal conclaves and other important events adds to its status as a unique and historically rich space. The ceiling's depictions of biblical stories and historical figures offer educational value, allowing viewers to engage with religious narratives, history, and art history. The themes of creation, human nature, and the divine have prompted discussions about morality, philosophy, and the human condition. The imagery encourages reflection on profound questions about existence and the meaning of life. The Sistine Chapel ceiling has inspired adaptations, reinterpretations, and references in various forms of media, including literature, music, film, and popular culture. The preservation and restoration of the ceiling have been ongoing over the centuries. Modern technology and conservation techniques ensure its longevity and allow future generations to appreciate its splendor. The ceiling stands as a testament to human creativity, ingenuity, and perseverance. Michelangelo's dedication and the masterpiece's enduring beauty exemplify the heights that artistic expression can reach. The Sistine Chapel ceiling remains an unparalleled achievement that bridges the past and present, connecting people across time and space through the power of art and human expression.